Welcome to Commissioner's Corner. I'm your host, Lois Leonard, and thank you for joining us. As we continue to journey through these unprecedented times, we look to find normalcy and sometimes just a way to get through the day. Perhaps you're taking longer walks, eating your favorite comfort foods, or spending more time in front of the TV. But let's talk today about another favorite pastime, one that can be totally free to all: reading. Our Boston public libraries, even during a pandemic, are open for business. There are 25 branches that serve the city of Boston. And today, with the help of the BPL's president, David Leonard, we're going to make sure you know how to take advantage of this amazing service. David, thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you here today.
Lois, it's great to be with you and talk a little bit about the library and what we've been up to.
Well, I love libraries. I miss the smell of walking through libraries. So I'm going to enjoy this conversation today. I'm wondering, do you sometimes think that many of us forget that there's this wonderful, wonderful free opportunity?
I think we all have memories of libraries from growing up or when our grandparents took us there, and those tend to dominate our consciousness sometimes. And even though we're in the middle of a pandemic today, we were a little worried when we closed back in March of last year if people would forget about us even more. And it turns out that even though many people are using our services online instead of being able to come in and visit us in person, we have done more business, if you will, in total with the patrons in Boston and across Massachusetts than we did in 2019. So we're providing a role. It's not quite the same. I have the beautiful Bates Hall behind me here. This is not a virtual background, but it's not quite the same as being able to visit a library in person or take a book off a shelf.
Of course. So, well, then let's talk about the physical services that are available right now during COVID.
Yeah. So across all of our open locations, which is 22 branches in the Central Library, we have a couple still closed for renovation, which we can talk about in a bit. But you can put a book on hold. You can do that online. You can get our app. You can just call the library and we'll help you with that if it's too difficult to navigate our systems. And then you make an appointment and you come pick up your books and you take them away again. So that's our BPL to go service at all of our open locations.
I'm sorry, you said BPL to go?
BPL to go. Libraries around the country are using this model to stay in touch with patrons in person. Some are calling it curbside pickup, but for us, it's BPL to go.
Well, in addition to the traditional let's take out a book, you're also offering computer access. How does one sign up for that?
We are. So if you go to our website, which is bpl.org, right now, this is a service only on offer at the Central Library, where there are a number of sessions each day where you can come in and use a session for about 90 minutes or 2 hours. Once it's a little safer to do so, we hope to add this at some of our branch locations throughout the city.
And I'm sorry, how do you sign up for that?
You just go to our website, www.bpl.org, and you'll find the instructions there under our to go banner.
Well, I've also heard the term outdoor internet access. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, just let me talk about that in brief for a moment, because we've said there's nothing like being able to take out a physical book, and there's limited opportunities for that. There's a tremendous set of offerings online, but for many individuals, it's a challenge to get online. They either don't have broadband access, or they might not even have a device. Or perhaps some of their skills are not what they need to be to truly participate in our online world today. So one of the ways that we're trying to solve for those problems is that at 9 locations, we've boosted our Wi-Fi signal basically outside the library. So even if you're across the street or a building or so away, you can hop on the network there and gain access to what you need to do.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully as we eventually get into spring, it'll be a much more used service. But it's one small way that we're just trying to help bridge the digital divide in our society.
And in addition to a physical book that one can take out, and I assume, is there an appointment to go pick up that book?
There is, yes.
Okay.
Some of the branches that have a little more flexibility are just letting you come right in, and as soon as it's ready, as soon as you get the notification that it's ready. But some of the busier locations are doing it by appointment only.
So can you share with us perhaps what are some of the most popular books these days, or some of the favorites that you might have on your mind?
Well, I think it's more what types of books people are reading, and we're seeing a lot of people check out just some fiction works to keep their mind off current reality. Others are using the time to maybe take an educational journey into anti-racist literature and what we're doing around racial equity. There are book lists on this topic on our website. And one particular area that I was thrilled to see there be interest in throughout last year was biographies, and particularly biographies that are of a political nature.
Wow.
Really interesting take on what's catching people's attention at the moment.
And in addition to books, are we able to take out DVDs and CDs and other?
Yes. So all of those materials, including Wi-Fi hotspots for those that need access. So that's another addition to our things you can check out from the library. So they're all available. And in addition, you might want to check out an audiobook online or an ebook online, or possibly a movie that you can download. We're partnered with Canopy for some of the downloadable movies, as well as other services, strange things called Hoopla or Zinio, and you can find out all about those on our website as well.
Well, beyond these physical services, what other resources is the library offering people at the moment?
Yeah, so really what I was so proud of our staff that they were able to accomplish real early in the pandemic last year was taking our in-person programming and migrating it to the online platform. So children's story hour, book clubs, all of these kind of programs have been available online since as early as March or April of last year. And we were really glad to see our homework assistance program get relaunched online as well. And so you can find out more about that also on our website. And that is an opportunity for all of our kids to get help with their homework. Because we know there are several populations in our society that are in danger of being left behind during this very, very trying time. And this is one way of helping out the young people in our society. And this is Homework Assistance Program. It's available Mondays through Thursdays from 3:30 to 5:30, and primarily focused on grades K through 8 right now.
So we all know how challenging this school year has been, not just for the children, but for the teachers too. So who are the people involved that are doing the mentoring, doing the tutoring?
Yeah, so under the supervision of our librarians and library staff, the young people are older students themselves who sign up and go through the training, and then conduct these mentoring sessions with the younger children as well. So it's good not only for the younger children to get help with their homework, it's an opportunity for the older children and our young people to be engaged in giving back as well.
That sounds like a wonderful program. HAP, right? HAP?
Yep.
Okay, and again, more information online to see how you can sign up for something like that. I was really happy when I was going through online in your services to see that you also have a virtual art and architecture tour.
Yeah, so this building behind me, which is one of our real gems in the system, was opened in 1895, and we were able, through the support of a generous donation from Bank of America, which was shepherded through the Boston Public Library Fund, support the launch of this incredible brochure. It was started as a brochure. We were going to print copies and have it available to visitors, but we were able to make an online version of that that's a little more interactive. So you can take a tour from the comfort of your own home of the McKim Building and the Central Library here in Copley Square. And again, bpl.org, and look for the Art and Architecture Tour.
Now, obviously, you have the wonderful job of being able to physically be in these libraries quite often. Do you have a favorite piece of art or sculpture or series of artworks that you enjoy the most?
Well, that's always a very difficult and dangerous question to ask. Just don't ask me to pick which branch is my favorite, or you'll really get me into trouble with people. But here at the Central Library, the Chauvin murals just outside around the grand staircase, if you've ever been here, these are the murals by Puvis de Chauvin, and one of them is a telling of philosophy as a muse. Each of them is about different muses, and there's some interesting ironic takes on a few of them. But my favorite is philosophy, because we had to do a restoration project for that several years ago, and it came out beautifully, and everybody was very nervous at the time, but great to see it restored to its former glory and preserved for generations to come. But as someone who studied philosophy in college, that's why it resonates with me. And what better way to symbolize inquiry in the spirit of research and pursuing truth and facts than philosophy?
Understood. I'll look forward to seeing that again soon, I hope. Well, virtually, I can see
Well,
that.
yes, you can just
Right?
go to our little art and architecture tour that's on the website and go from there.
It's all so inspiring, truly. And Boston, we boast the first free large municipal library in the United States. And again, truly inspiring when you read about its histories. So many committed people that it took to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, the charter was signed in 1848, and we began offering services in the 1850s. But what has struck me as I've studied our own history is really it was a coming together of philanthropists at the time. They would have been businessmen. They were men, right? So a different time, but they wanted, for a variety of reasons, for Boston to have its own public library, and they combined their resources with the mayor at the time. And this was one of the real early private-public partnerships that even today help keep the library sustained and alive. And so it's really inspiring to read about Joshua Bates, for whom the Bates reading room here is named after, and some of his other colleagues as well. And we're really proud of our firsts in Boston. So yes, the first municipally funded large public library in the country. There were some smaller ones a little earlier, but we're proud of that. And we think the first branch in the country as well. So so East Boston will actually celebrate not the current building, but one of its previous buildings. But this was the first neighborhood of Boston to have a branch of the Boston Public Library in its vicinity. So we'll be celebrating that, presumably virtually, in about a month or so.
Well, I'll look forward to that one. Because the people of Boston are still inspiring us today. The city recently completed the reconstruction of the Roxbury branch and Nubian Square.
Yeah.
And I'm told it's a state-of-the-art facility. And in fact, Mayor Walsh, he recently delivered his last State of the City address right there in that hall. So it looked amazing.
Yeah, it was a tremendous opportunity to take what is the largest branch in the system at 27,000 square feet and transform it from a 1970s architecture that was, well, let's say very inward looking and not terribly inviting from the outside, and really do a mini version of what we did with the Central Library here on Boylston Street 5 years ago. Basically open it up, have a sense of invitation to the neighborhood. It's warm, it's colorful, it's bright. And there is a little video tour of that online. You can find it on our YouTube channel and visit virtually until it's safe to visit in person. But this is just one aspect of Mayor Walsh's commitment and the City of Boston's commitment to renovate several branch libraries during this period. We all are now looking forward to reopening the Adams Street branch, which is a totally rebuild branch on the same site as the previous branch, but also the Roslindale branch has gotten in complete renovation, more of the interior in that case, as we did preserve the architecture of that structure during the project. So those are just three awesome projects that we're happy to have back in the family or coming soon in late spring and summer of 2021. And they'll be there waiting for people when it's safe to come back into our buildings.
And then there's also, I believe, the Faneuil Street in Brighton is also going to see some new work.
That's right. The branch in Oak Square, the Faneuil branch, is just starting construction, and we're really looking forward to seeing that branch get a much-needed renovation. One of the few that were not fully accessible in the system. Excuse me. And so, the community is very enthusiastic about preserving as much as possible of the original, but still allowing us to meet our accessibility requirements, add a little space, and, just make it as much of the 21st as of the 20th century.
And David, tell us, there's a lot of new things going on with some of the personalities on your team as well, with the Board of Trustees.
Oh, that's right. Yes. We recently got news that the mayor had appointed 5 new trustees to our board. So we're enthusiastic about welcoming them to the team. We had 4 vacancies, and we also want to thank our outgoing chairman, Bob Gallery, for his incredible years of service to us. So his vacancy plus the new 4 allows us to welcome Navjeet Baul from the finance sector, Senator Mike Rush, State Senator Mike Rush, to our team, as well as the Mayor's Chief of Policy, Joyce Lenahan, a Dorchester resident. And we're also joined by Christian Westra from the Leventhal Map and Education Center here at the Boston Public Library. They have their own board, but it brings that organization a little closer to the family, as well as Joe Berman from the Associates of the Boston Public Library, also an organization that supports our special collections area of work. And so all of our affiliates now are represented, the other one being, of course, the Boston Public Library Fund with Jeff Hawkins, the chair, also on our board. And so we're really excited to welcoming them all to the team.
Sounds like very diverse and just a well-rounded group of people from very different places in the city that can be obviously just great support to you.
Yeah, no, combined with the existing membership, it's a really strong representation of interests across the city, different neighborhoods. And the BPL, of course, has a role as the library for the Commonwealth statewide. And so having some representation from outside of Boston just shores up the whole enterprise as well.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't share with you that the very first job that I ever had was working in our school library. And I can't tell you how long ago that was because it's a little embarrassing, but it was during the time when we were still using the card catalog, certainly nothing online. But what it gave to me was such a beautiful joy that I feel even to this day, every time I walk into a library and smell the books, and I find it a very relaxing place to be, to just browse, to walk through the aisles. And I'll never forget that Dewey Decimal System in the card catalog. So they don't still use those, do they? Card catalog?
Oh, we do. So it might not have been that long ago that you were using a card catalog. But one of the little gems of the behind the scenes work that we've been doing while closed in our special collections area is that we've taken the remaining card catalog system, which is thousands of cards, supporting our rare books and manuscripts collection, and they've all gotten scanned in, and for the first time we'll be making all of that collection much more accessible. Indeed, this is one of the projects at the Central Library. In addition to all that branch work we talked about earlier, we also are closing in on the last year of renovating the Rare Books and Manuscripts department here. And so this will be a wonderful new space to visit, which probably this time next year, sometime around then, will be reopening to the public. Not only will you be able to visit in person, but with all of the scanning work that has happened while we've been closed, makes the collection also much more accessible online.
Wonderful. Sounds like you're busy.
Yeah, we're busy. And I think what's great is not only are we continuing to offer what services we can in person, so much is being offered online right now, and then all of these behind the scenes projects, if you will, are continuing. And so we're trying to not miss a beat while we're all dealing with this pandemic and all of its impacts.
So we'll all benefit from much that you've learned over this last year of COVID while you have been online to the extent that you are. It'll benefit us down the road as your services just grow and grow and grow.
We think so. And the challenge, I think, in the years ahead will be what have we been doing over this last year that we want to continue doing more of while
Right.
returning the right mix of in-person services as well. And so I don't have the crystal ball on that, but we believe we're up for the challenge as we learn more and as we can get back in person when it's safe to do so.
Well, David, it was a wonderful pleasure to meet you. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Lois, and great last name. I wonder where our families are separated from each other.
Well, we'll talk about that offline, but
Okay.
we'll see. No, thank you so much for talking with us. I hope we get to do it again soon. And also, thank you and your whole team for being committed to bringing to us all these wonderful services. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks,
And
Lois.
lastly, let's remind everybody, BPL to go.
BPL to go, and go to bpl.org for more information.
All right. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Lois. Bye-bye.
Throughout the month of February, the Boston Public Library will be honoring Black History Month, and every month offers educational and cultural events that you don't want to miss. So please go to their website at bpl.org and check out the schedule of events that you can take advantage of from the comfort of your own home. And a bonus, during COVID times, all book late fees have been suspended. Our libraries are one of Boston's greatest civic treasures. We hope you discover all it has to offer. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Commissioner's Corner.